Max Verstappen is an incredible talent, and he has outclassed all his teammates over the years. What do Max Verstappen's former teammates think about him? Let's find out. Carlos Sainz. If you believe the rumors, you would think that Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz's time together at Toro Rosso was an all-out war, bitter infighting, and a final vicious coup that allowed Verstappen and not Sainz to replace Daniel Kvyat at Red Bull. But according to Sainz, the simple, boring truth is that in reality, there is no beef between the duo. Sainz and Verstappen both stepped up to Formula One with Toro Rosso in 2015, and despite the fact that the relationship between the two young guns had its share of tense moments on the track, for example, Verstappen refusing to swap places with Sainz in Singapore in 2015, or the Dutchman rear-ending Sainz in Australia in 2016, Sainz maintains that the rumours of animosity between them have been exaggerated to the degree that he is unable to comprehend. The Spaniard said, "It's one of the enigmas of the paddock. Everyone thinks me and Max hate each other, and that's absolutely not the case. Many fans, when I go to autograph signings, they keep asking me about Max and what's the relationship. Even my friends keep asking me about Max and the relationship we had. We were having fun that year, I promise. We had a lot of fun out of the track. On the track, we were extremely competitive. We knew we were battling for our careers, for our Formula One pedigree in our first year, rookie season, and I got on with him a lot better than what people think." Sainz is unequivocal about his former teammate's brilliance behind the wheel and even admits that it motivated him to elevate his own game to new heights. Sainz said, "For me, Max, there is no doubt that he's one of the most talented, if not the most talented guys I've battled against in Formula One. So I really enjoyed that year because it also forced me to take another step. I thought I was extremely good after 2014. After the year I did, then I arrived in Formula One, and I was up against a young guy with a lot of talent. It made me take another step of commitment, professionalism, of talent, of everything, so it made me a better driver in the end." Daniel Ricciardo. Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo were teammates for 2.5 years between 2016 and 2018, when the former was promoted to the senior Red Bull team mid-season to replace Daniel Kvyat. Ricciardo believes that he and Verstappen have pushed one another to reach new levels of performance. Ricciardo said of Verstappen's promotion to Red Bull, "That was another step up in my personal career in driving. I always felt I was at the limit up to the point when Max arrived. What probably sparked the driver change was that I was performing quite well compared to Daniel Kvyat from testing through to Russia. Then Max came on board, and obviously I thought I was driving at my limit, but I guess there was something a little bit more, and I feel we have probably both given each other that. I feel Max has lifted his game even more, and I have, so it's cool to know we have a little bit more in the tank." Ricciardo believes that the most significant change in Verstappen's strategy occurred around 4 years ago when the driver recovered from a string of early season incidents, including a dramatic collision between the two in Azerbaijan, to rack up podium finishes and race wins as the 2018 season progressed. When asked if he had seen any changes in Verstappen in the lead up to his second F1 title, Ricciardo responded, "I think he definitely took a step. I think it was the last year I was with him in 2018. Across the first 5 or 6 races, he was in the wall a lot, having incidents or having mistakes, mostly on his behalf. Then through that year, it's just like he had a bit of a self-realization and step of maturity, which is also natural, and we all go through it. I honestly think that from the middle of that season on, he became a more complete driver." Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly lavished praise on his former teammate Max Verstappen, describing the Dutchman and Red Bull as an incredibly efficient package. Gasly raced throughout the first half of the 2019 season for Red Bull alongside Verstappen, after which he was moved back to Toro Rosso, Red Bull's sister team, now AlphaTauri. While Gasly attempts to resurrect his career in Formula One, Verstappen has added 2 F1 titles to his name. Reflecting on their respective journeys, Gasly referred to Verstappen as outstanding, and he praised Verstappen for the success that he is currently enjoying. Gasly said, "I've been racing with Max for the past 15 years, even before Formula One. Been always intense to race against him. That's what I always loved. The battles we've had in the past, the close racing. He's obviously extremely talented. He's excellent. I think the experience and the combination of what he built with Red Bull Racing is just an incredibly efficient package." After just 1 year of experience in single-seater racing, Verstappen made his debut in Formula One with Toro Rosso in 2015. Although he showed outstanding qualities from the outset, several competitors questioned his racing style. As a result, a so-called Verstappen rule was instituted at one point to restrict drivers from moving while they were braking. Gasly believes that since then, Verstappen has matured into an all-round better driver. Gasly added he was probably a bit raw when he came into F1, very aggressive, and made a couple of mistakes at the start, even if he was always super competitive. But I think now, over the last few years, he has just completely proven his potential. He is barely doing any mistakes and delivering weekends in and out and really performing at the best of what Red Bull provides him. It's very impressive, but as I said, always entertaining to race against him, and I hope to have some really good and intense battles in the future against him. Alex Albon. Tyre driver Alex Albon, who currently races for Williams, partnered with Verstappen during the 2019 and 2020 seasons, believes the 2-time world champion is at the top of his game. Albon had a difficult time during this stint, but he believes that the enormous talent that Verstappen possesses is the reason that Red Bull tailors certain facets of their car around him. Albon explained, if he's always doing well, there's no reason for the team to ever deviate to something else. I think part of that was when you look at the data, there's nothing that goes, wow, this and this is incredible. It's a weird comparison to make, but if anyone watches MotoGP, think of someone like Marc Marquez. He has a very specific driving style, and it works for him, and it's quick, but it's not always the easiest to follow. Albon responded to a question regarding Verstappen's accomplishment by saying, I think he's very on top of his form right now. Albon was supposed to take Pierre Gasly's spot in Red Bull, but Albon was unable to come anywhere close to matching Verstappen's output, despite the fact that he was given some time to prove himself. He said, it's also the way he handles the car. He is very precise. What he wants in a car is very different from what most drivers want. He wants a car that is so sharp in the corner, it's unbelievable. I can tell you that the car is extremely sharp. I've always been known as a driver who likes a lot of front gripping to control the car precisely, and then this guy comes in, he makes it look like I'm driving a bus. Albon also provided some insight into Verstappen's personality by stating that the Dutch driver did not need to be political given his driving skill. Albon's statement was one of the insights supplied by Albon. Albon explained, no, he's not political at all. He's very straightforward, one of the most straightforward actually. He has a lot of self-confidence, a lot of self-belief, which you would do if you won a world championship. But even before then, he's in a position where he doesn't need to be political because he can just do the talking on the circuit. Some people see him as maybe being arrogant. I don't think he is at all. I think he's just very determined, very hungry and sure of himself, but he's not arrogant and he can simply just do the talking on the track. Now over to you. What's your thought about Max Verstappen? Let us know in the comment section below.